Oh, there they go.
There we go. There was no way.
Oh, it's Kurt Busch up and over. Boyer's in it. Bobby Labonte's in it. Stremmy's in it. Jeff Gordon down to the grass.
Nothing else coming from behind you.
And Kurt Busch went over and over.
Boyer, McMurray.
They're just, guys, I'm with Denny. And, you know, having been in these situations several times, there's no way you can race that way and make it.
And for the 6th time in 7 Talladega races, a pileup in the last 8 laps. Look at Ryan Newman's wrecked race car. He's dropped the window net, assigned a safety cruise that he is okay.
The 78 car, Kurt Busch, it is destroyed.
Oh, and J.J. Yaley on track for his 2nd top 10 restrictor plate finish. And Danica Patrick, both torn up.
Yeah, J.J. Yelly in that 36, he had actually cracked the top 5 there, headed onto the back stretch.
Look at the 39 car here of Ryan Newman. Somebody been on top of him.
I think
that
Kurt
somebody
Busch.
was Kurt Busch. Let's watch from the Goodyear blimp and see how this unfolds. Watch Kurt Busch, the black car on the bottom.
I think it starts up on the outside here. Let's see. Right in here somewhere.
That's Regan Smith in the middle and Yaley up top.
Right here, the 51 car. Owen Stenhouse squeezes to the outside.
And that's Yaley in the 36.
And that shoved Yaley down. And look at that 78 car upside down and then lands on top of Ryan Newman's 39 car.
Bobby Labonte involved.
So it was Stenhouse, the rookie, trying to go 4 wide on the outside, running out of room with his number 17.
Yeah, and running out of time. I mean, he's, you know, desperate. And you see the 36 move down just a little bit. And Yaley and Stenhouse thought he could squeeze by on the next to the wall, and he just couldn't make it. And this kid's ugly. Watch this thing.
Right on top of Ryan Newman.
Hadn't Ryan Newman had cars on top of him before here?
I think the 2009 race.
I think you're right.
Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards coming to the checkered flag.
Boyer's 15 comes up, clogs the track. Both Labonte brothers involved. Stremme, number of those smaller teams on the way to a good finish here.
Jeff Gordon sliding down through the mud.
Now watch the 36. The red and white car comes up just a little bit. And that contact with Stenhouse was enough. Then he comes down into Ambrose, and it's on.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 just squeezed by.
There's Danica. She almost went over.
You see Danica up and against the wall with Terry Labonte.
Michael Waltrip in the 55 just barely squeezed by.
Let's ride with Danica.
Down in, take that second position away, and he will.
Hop and over. Danny Bone. Oh my goodness. Danny Bone's car caught a wheel, climbed the side of the front stretch wall, and you see he is trying to climb out. Fire crews quickly there. And we're under the red flag for Danny Bone. Danny out of the car, walks away to the right of the race car. That's a heart stopper.
Well, they were pointing out earlier some of the safety features that even the modified series continues to step up their program, and boy, that's an awesome sight seeing him walk to that ambulance.
This young man is quite a talent. He is kind of under the wing of Ray Evernham, who has quite a history with the Bone family, but he's been racing weekly at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, and he was 6th at the time of the crash.
He actually works for Ray Evernham as a mechanic and a fabricator.
There's the white car on the outside. Gets loose and into Priest, and the car goes up and over.
Yeah, and those open wheels with Ryan Priest, it's almost like they just locked together.
A lot of Nerf bars on these cars that should keep much of that from happening. But really, the right front just climbs the wall, Larry.
Yeah, he ran out of racetrack. There was no more room there.
That is Preece against the wall behind him. In real time.
Yeah, that's what it exactly did. It just, that right front tire, it just started climbing up the wall.
A frightening ride for Danny Bone. And he is okay.
Here comes that 98 and the 88 tandem in the middle of the track. Johnny Sauter, he won at Daytona earlier this year. Can he do it again? They wreck behind him. They're rolling behind him. Now the 88 spins. Thor Sport is going to win. It's going to be Johnny Sauter that will get the win, but they wreck behind him.
Matt Crafton has not got to the start-finish line yet.
And they're still wrecking. Crafton does slide by the start-finish line. The 32 of Miguel Paludo was upside down. It's on fire now.
Somebody hit Kyle Busch really hard late in that crash. Just as they crossed the start-finish line, the front of his truck is tore off.
Matt Crafton, let's take another look.
That's Jeb in the black truck.
Being pushed by Miguel Paludo. He got pushed sideways into Kyle Busch.
That sends Busch sideways. Dakota Armstrong in the 60 was able to stay clear up high.
Watch Paludo flip over when Kyle gets on the right rear of his truck.
See David Starr go by.
Kyle
Chris Fontaine going by. Justin Lofton in the 6 truck. There's Clay Greenfield in the 68. John West Townley in the 7 going by on the inside.
I think there might be one more impact for.
Yeah, Kyle Busch did get hit one more time.
Kyle Busch, I'm thinking maybe it was the.
We watched though the 32 still upside down. He'll end up rolling just at the end as he gets hit one more time here.
Yeah. The sliding down the racetrack isn't that bad. It's the landing on the racetrack that hurts you in a flip.
Riding along with Crafton. He gets tagged, around he goes. Until they came into the tri-oval and this happened.
Yeah, those guys behind had so much momentum coming. Miguel Paludo was pushing the 4 of Jeb Burton and just pushed him sideways right into Kyle Busch.
And Kyle Busch slides down and he
watch
hits
this
the
truck.
inside wall right there.
That truck hit hard on the inside wall. Broke the wall.
Trouble. Start finish line. Logano comes down into Paul Menard. One car gets up on top of a group and goes flipping over and over, and the 30 lands on its roof. That's Parker Kligerman.
Cole Witt's teammate that just wrecked in that first caution.
And Brandon Davis's team, Swan Energy, suddenly has 2 cars torn up. There's Dave Blaney with the single car 77 team.
Look at a coil spring there that's come out of one of these race cars, a rear coil spring.
As they come off turn number 4, that's Menard to the inside and Kligerman, the 30, to the outside.
Actually, Matt Kenseth in the 20 looks like he kicked up into Joey Logano in the 22 that turned him sideways.
Trevor Bayne, the 21, looked to me, Larry, like he was going to bump draft. Got him going. A lot of different looks here.
So Kenseth, the yellow car right in the middle in front of Logano, right here. Trying to get with his teammate Kyle Busch, but comes back up. That tips Logano into Trevor Bayne. His nose catches Paul Menard, who plows into Kligerman, who gets up in the air on top of Menard's car. And who's that underneath? Black car.
That's the 83 car of Ryan Truex.
And it was Ryan who got out of the car quickly in the black fire suit and was running to check on Kligerman. 3 wide drafting here. Kenseth down a little bit, but Menard is there. And he just moves Logano enough that Joey loses control, gets into Menard. The white car of Kligerman, the black car of Truex, and the white car of Blaney, all stacking up at the start-finish line.
And Trevor Bayne in that 21 car may have gotten a little bit of damage, but Lord, it could have been a whole lot worse for him.
A scary crash. Here's our camera on top of the safer barrier right at start finish.
Safety fence is doing a great job.
Oops.
And we lose our camera.
Yes, we did.
And Kenny, you've run this track so many times. That is one of the fastest places of this racetrack. And as Darrell has always pointed out, there's not a lot of banking there, and you're turning a pretty sharp turn.
And you can see two places where part of the chain link fencing is torn away. And there was a splitter from one car that ended up right there in the fence. And so that area is going to have to be repaired. But look at the big cables between those huge stanchions that do the bulk of the work of keeping the cars where they belong down on the racetrack. And that's all above the 3 feet of safer barrier that the cars were sliding along. Those are some 1 inch and some 2 inch cables. That area has all been reinforced after last year's nationwide race here, the cables to get to the racetrack. So here is what just happened to put us under the red flag. Klickerman's car getting up in the air on top of Paul Menard, getting a shove from Ryan Truex. There's the splitter being ripped off, and the front end getting against the chain link fence, but all that cabling doing its job to keep the cars where they belong.
Yeah, the catch fence and the cabling, Mike, it's been a huge evolution. If you go back to the spring race at Talladega of 2009 with Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski, when Carl Edwards got up into the fence, at that point right there, a lot of racetracks made changes to the catch fence. And then obviously what happened here a year ago during the Nationwide Series race, more changes were made at this racetrack and with the catch fence and crossovers at a lot of tracks, but especially like Talladega.
Got enough air time to qualify for his pilot's license right here.
2 by 2, middle's open. We're upside down. Fine, nothing else is going to hit you. Stay buckled in, stay buckled in, stay buckled in. Nothing else is going to hit you. You're not hitting anything. Turn left if you can. Turn left if you can. Turn left if you can. Finish the race. Start finishes at your pit box. Start finishes at your pit box. One more, a little bit more. Get your transponder back.
Looked like Jimmy's car just got loose and spun.
Look at Clint Boyer in that 15 car get up in the air.
Thing went all, it did a 360.
Well, I don't know. How would you grade that as far as creativity? Because you've had some big runs here, especially with the 07 a few years ago as well.
I would grade it as a fail for sure, but you know, I think the 48, they said run out of gas and kind of put us all in a bad situation, and I felt somebody hit me. I was like, oh boy. What's that? It's an eerie silence right there, but you always wonder what's going to happen. You're more, you know, nervous about what's going to happen when she lands, and heck, it was pointed the right direction. I just kind of downshifted and drove it back to the pits. I said,
but you did stick the landing.
Exactly not how I wanted that to happen.
But you did stick the landing, though.
I would say perfect landing, yes.
And now we have trouble. Big time crash coming off of turn 2. We got one upside down. Our 8th caution of the day. Debris everywhere.
That looks like the 64 of Ron Juhas Jr.
It is Juhas who's upside down. And did you see? It was almost like his car pirouetted on the nose, and then all that momentum came down and slammed him on his roof. Timmy Solomito, another one of the drivers involved in this crash.
The 82 is Danny Wash Jr. You see Ron moving around in there inside the race car. Just so little room right there. They're going to need to move that car up a little bit, I think, to give him room to get out. Definitely you can see him moving his hands inside the car. That's a good sign.
That's a good sign and a big sigh of relief, because it was a scary moment. And Phil, we've talked about it so many times, how tight these cars race. So easy for one tire to get up on top of another, and you have a restart late. You're going for every position you can get, and that's exactly what happened, causing this situation that put Ron Juhas upside down and brings out our 8th caution of the day.
Look back on the right side of your screen. You see Stefanik, the one car. He gets sideways. There's Goodale around. Timmy Solomito into the wall. And there's Juhas really just forced into the outside wall there by 75 of Salamito.
Well, that's impact that you don't often feel as a race car driver. So many times you get turned, you hit the wall with the side of your race car. This time the entire impact on the roof as he gets up on the nose, and then Ron Uhas slamming down on the top side of that Whelen modified.
Yeah, hard contact by the 82 also of Danny Watts Jr.
They're going to get his car turned over. Great effort by the safety officials here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And the next thing you look for is Uhas climbing out. And once again, you can see him moving around inside his machine. He appears to be okay. And how about this? Overtime in the FW Web 100. Green-white checker when we return. FW Web 100 here at Loud, New Hampshire. Our 8th caution coming out when Ron Uhas went upside down, slammed down on the roof of his car. Best scene that we've had here today, him getting out just fine. So Uhas is going to walk away from a scary accident. Let's get a report from Kristen downstairs.
Hanging tough here on the restart.
Oh, here we go.
Got trouble. That's Casey Kane. It goes sideways. Joey Logano nowhere to go.
Oh, my.
Clint
Half the
Boyer
field
through
is
the grass. The big one at Daytona has happened at lap 97.
That is the huge one at Daytona.
Justin Allgaier.
Oh, and the
Denny
18
Hamlin.
gets on its roof.
And Kyle Busch rolls upside down.
Wow.
See the 26 car of Cole Witt, the 38 of David Gilliland.
Just having a good old time over here. Just hanging around. Okay. Just stay buckled up. Let them get you flipped over here.
That's Kyle Busch. Yeah, there goes our antenna on the onboard of the 18. Kyle Busch. And that was I think the slowest rollover
and the latest
I've ever seen.
It was almost like a delayed reaction to the crash. Saw rookie Ryan Truex backing through your picture. He had damage. Safety crews are there.
And let me tell you that, you know, when you're upside down in one of these cars, Kyle, because you're so buckled in. Let's take a replay here. It looks like the 16 got into the 5 a little bit too hard and just turned him. And man, talk about getting piled up.
Watch the 3 car when we get another replay of Austin Dillon come shooting up through the middle and trying to avoid the accident.
26 of Cole Witt just got into the 18 to turn him over.
And watch Danica in this outside line right here. She and the 2 car of Brad Keselowski. Wow, that 1 car's up in the air right there.
All 4 tires were off the ground.
He just launched.
That was perfect. I mean, she just slowed it down enough to let everything clean off in front of her, as Brad did.
As they got to the corner, as you get to these corners, once the cars go up, they will come back down.
Especially when they slow down.
Yeah, when they slow down, they just come back down the racetrack. And that was, she was in the right place in this line to be able to whoa her car down, not get run over from behind, and just kind of right there, she's nose to nose.
That Austin Dillon, they got through that. That
Yep.
3-car, man, he did a nice job getting through there as well.
Nice job by him.
We ride with Kyle Busch, who at the end of this mess goes on his roof.
22 is pushing to 41. Easy, get lower. We're in it.
Right here. And it was just because his car was on the banking and on the apron, just at the right enough angle for somebody to just kind of toss him upside down.
She runs up on the outside there, gets into the front, just gets hit in the back by the 26 car that ends up hitting the 18 car. So she's probably got a little nose damage and a little bit in the back of the car.
Second time today
really
she's dodged a bullet.
Yeah, from the end car here.
I'm in front of you. Stay high, back it down, back it down.
Just barely gets into the car in front of her. I think that's the 38.
No lane. What do you got here?
That's a good job.
And it just opens up.
I got hit in the front back, but
Really good job.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had just gotten back on the lead lap.
And Dale got it slowed down enough.
Yeah.
To where he could stay away from it.
Okay, around the outside up by the wall if you can.
That's perfect.
As you look at the carnage as he drives by away.
And that's why you want to be on the lead lap here, because you know